Hello and welcome. And we're talking about intuition. And I'm Sharon MCL. And today we're going to be chatting about colour and shapes. So, colour and shapes are important because they help you to connect with your intuition, and you can play with them in a couple of different ways. You can decide what colours mean to you. You can decide on what shapes mean to you, or you can use them to train your inner sight and your understanding of what you are seeing. You can also train your spiritual helpers to be able to connect with you in ways that you can understand. So sometimes what's happening in the past was our connection between where our spirit guides were and where we were was a little bit removed. So it meant that it meant that sometimes it was challenging to receive and create that connection. So in any time you are always either receiving or transmitting. That's the way. We're a receiver or transmitter. And it means that with your guides and angels, if you are opening to receive, then they are the transmitter and you are receiving. Then when you acknowledge that you have understood, then you transmit to them back, and they are the receiver and you are the transmitter. So it works in that way, very much like the radio signals and things like that that are similar in the essence of a transmitter and a receiver. However, the thing is, when you're opening up your intuition, you have to have some foundation to build upon. And so, if you have some foundation, you can then know what it means. So, an example, we're going to start talking about shapes, symbols. So, with some shapes, they have always had certain meanings throughout time. And you can go with the same meaning, or you can actually refine it to something that it means for you. So, you can start with simple shapes such as a circle, a square, a triangle. All these shapes do have other meanings as well, but you can start with them as a focal point to activate your inner seeing, so that you can imagine a blank screen and you can imagine drawing a circle on that blank screen, and you can see that circle very clearly. You can imagine yourself drawing a triangle and seeing that triangle very clearly in your mind's eye. You can imagine yourself drawing a square and seeing that square in your mind's eye. You can imagine yourself drawing wavy lines and seeing that in your mind's eye. And the interesting thing is, the more that you are very clear in your transmission, the more it's easier for someone to receive. And if you have a clear base to be able to receive upon, it's easier for you to interpret what's coming as well. So just imagine if you've got this board and you have pictures of everything you've ever received on it, it would just be cluttered and you have no clarity. So imagine that you can wipe the board like a chalkboard or like a whiteboard. You can wipe that board and have it clear, so that in any moment when you are asking a question and you're asking for clarity from your guides and angels, you can receive it with ease and grace. Now, one of the things I always have is I have some symbols that are just important to me. So if I see a bunch of flowers in my mind's eye, I know my guides and angels are saying, thank you. Thank you for that. That's really good. So I love receiving flowers because I know it's a thank you, it's an acknowledgement. And so to me, flowers are very significant. There are other things that you will have that have certain meanings for you. Certain animals have certain meanings for me. So if I see a hawk, I know that there are messages waiting for me. It's like it's like on your phone when you get the ding and you know, oh, there's a message. If I see a hawk, I go, there's some messages waiting for me. and so I need to take the time to receive them. So certain animals will do that for you. Certain animals will remind you of certain characteristics that you know are important. So, for example, a cat may remind you to to be able to stand on your feet no matter what happens. So, you know, you can be tossed in the air and still stand on your feet. A cat can teach you to be mindful of your own space, but also mindful of others. A cat can teach you to be more psychic if you wish to go that way. A dog can teach you loyalty and can be a wonderful companion. And so sometimes we need to be loyal and have our own companionship within ourselves. So it's interesting that different animals can teach you different things. Horses can actually reflect what you are putting out there. So a horse can be attracted to you because of a certain energy that you are giving out and vice versa. So again, we're transmitting and receiving, and we're doing this all the time. And it's when you take the time to observe it that you notice it. That you notice when someone's transmitting and when you're receiving it. So telepathy is basically a clear channel both ways. So what I suggest you do is with colours, I suggest you get some colour swatches. So you just coloured paper or material and have some coloured swatches. And what you do is one of the things you can do is focus on the colour. So you've got the focus and you're focusing on the colour. And then in your mind's eye, you see that colour on the whiteboard, on that white screen. You see that colour on that white screen. You see it very clearly. What does the colour vibrant yellow? This is a vibrant yellow. You mightn't be able to see the same colour that I'm seeing, but it's a vibrant yellow. What does that mean for you? Are you comfortable with that colour? What, if you were receiving this colour, what would it mean for you? Does it mean sunshine? Does it mean the Christ light, or is it not the right colour? The Christ light's more gold. If you're receiving this colour, does it mean it's intelligent? Not quite. It's not quite the right colour for intelligence. But what if it's a lemon colour? What does a lemon colour mean for you? For a lemon colour means to me that there's been some white light come into that. And so lemon is actually more of a higher colour. And the lemon itself can be about connecting to a higher intellect, a higher intuition, if you like. Again, it just depends on when it's sent to you and where it is in, maybe in a dream too. And I do Dream Circle, and I will be doing one this month. So by all means, you're welcome to join in with that if you'd like. So look at colours and see what they mean to you and interpret them, because that's the base for your spiritual guides to connect with you, and that's also the base for how you will interpret things. So know that, and know that you always have room to grow. So don't get stuck in believing one colour is only one thing. It can have multiple nuances to it depending on the shade of it. So for example, red. Red can be passionate, it can be energetic, but red can also be angry if it's a darker, a muckier red. So be mindful. Orange can often be a colour of um, connecting with others, can be a social colour. Apricot is again, that white light coming through and connecting with an orange to actually make it a higher level. That's my interpretation. Again, let yourself find the interpretation that's right for you. Blue, or this colour is quite deeper than what it's looking like on the screen. It's nearly an indigo, this one I've got, but it's not looking like that on the screen. So be mindful. What does that mean for you? What does, this is actually purple, but again, it looks a bit blue in the light. So look at a colour, and this is a blue swatch here. That's a blue swatch there. So you can see there's subtle differences between one and the other, although very similar in that on the screen. They look very different live. So again, you've got to allow yourself, when you see something, to not just see it, to feel it, to know it, to hear it. What is the color? What is the shape? What's it telling you? And this is how you open up your intuition. And it is by playing with that that you can open up more. And if it's something that you would like to do in the future, I would be happy to facilitate groups where we work with that. And often I've done that previously in small groups where we've actually, each week, we've worked on activating and our transmitting and receiving ability. And that's an interesting technique and tool to have. And I highly recommend using it because it can help you understand what's coming towards you and how to interpret it. So that's some things. I'd also like to suggest that, for example, if you're learning telepathy, one of the things you can do is find a friend that wants to play with you and is willing and able. Don't only work with people that want to. Don't try to twist someone's arm that is not ready for it. But if someone's ready, have the same set of swatches, cut out the same. You don't have to be in, and you don't have to be in the same room. You can be anywhere on the planet as long as you can chat to each other via Skype or Zoom afterwards. And what you do is you actually set a time that you can transmit the colours in a certain order to the person receiving, and then have another time where the other person transmits the colours to you in a certain order. And then when you get together, you show what you saw, what you found. Now, there's two things that happen here. It's about refining how you focus and send. I found it interesting when I was teaching one student that they were often challenged to actually focus on one colour. So often I would be observing the colour they were sending me, and I'd go, it's red, it's blue, it's red, it's blue, and so it's red with blue polka dots. And the funny thing is, it's very much like, I don't know if you've ever seen Sleeping Beauty, where the fairies are changing the colour. It's because their focus was they couldn't make up their mind. Will I transmit red or blue now? So you can actually send confusing signals to the receiver unless you are fully focused on only one colour at a time. And don't go too big too quickly. Allow yourself maybe just to choose 3 colours and have them there, and just do one at a time, 3 colours. Or if that's too much, just do one colour. You've only got to focus on one colour. That means you're not thinking about anything else. It means that you can only transmit that colour. So that's something you can do. Shapes are the same. If you want to do some shapes, draw up some shapes. For example, these are some shapes that are quite common. You might want to draw up those shapes. You might want to write down the choice of colours, and actually then have the swatches that match the colours, so that, and you've got them each, and then you can actually then have something to focus on, and record how you go, and you'll find that you'll learn something every time. And the other thing is don't be down on yourself if it doesn't quite work that day, because there's lots of different influences when you're first learning. There's how you're feeling on the day, whether you are connected and clear, whether you've got other things happening, how much time you focused, how much time you spent on centering yourself, clearing yourself before you started transmitting or receiving. It also is about practice. It also is about how connected you are to the person that you are sending to or receiving from. And so sometimes you will find families can have stronger connections or weaker connections. Sometimes you'll have friends that have stronger or weaker connections. So again, if you have someone that you want to play with in this way, make sure that they are really interested and want to, that they're not just doing it very skeptically, that they actually want to improve themselves. Because if they do, you can help each other in this way. And I recommend it. I recommend having someone that you can do that with, particularly when you're first learning. So that's something to play with, and that gives you some homework to do. And I would like you to practice working with colours, transmitting and receiving, and also with shapes, simple shapes to start off with. And then you can get more complex You can also play games. If you ever played the game Concentration with a pack of cards, and with concentration, you can actually pull out, so you've only got certain cards. So you might do ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you of all the different colours of the pack, black and red. And you might want to say, okay, we're playing the game where we're finding all the fives. So you play the game of where you're feeling where the 5 is, you're seeing it in your mind's eye, you're looking for a 5. You might want to refine it that it's now the 5 of hearts you're looking for, and find it. So what you do is you turn the card up when you see it, and if it's the correct card, you keep it. If it's not the correct card, you turn it down and place it down. If you're playing with another person, they can then memorize where the cards are. This is still a part of opening up your intuition. So it's a good game to play with kids, but it's also a good game to play just for yourself, to be able to practice that. And you can do that with the shapes. I've made cards of the shapes and have done that where they are face down. Just make sure when you print them, unfortunately, sometimes when you print them, you can actually see them through the paper. That's not good because you're not using your intuition enough there. You're actually seeing it because of the print. So do yourself a favour and do it on cardboard so that you can't actually see through them. Same with the colours. You can do colour ones, and I've actually got colour cards that I have worked with people to do that. So there's all sorts of things you can do, and you can make it fun, and please make it fun, make it enjoyable to play and open up your telepathic skills and your ability to receive and transmit, and always for the highest good. When you're playing, always for the highest good still, even though it's a fun thing to do and you're playing and you're learning, always for the highest good and nothing else, because that is something that stands beside you and becomes a healthy barrier, so that it's only for the highest good and nothing else. Call in your guides and angels for the highest good and nothing else, to support your intuition to grow and blossom and to be all it can be. So be it, and so it is. I hope this live session has given you some ideas to play with and some homework to do, and that you can pair up with someone you know, either within the groups that we form or outside of those groups, that are willing to play with the highest good in mind and are on the same intent level with you and attention level, and so that you can blossom and bloom and grow. So be it, and so it is. And blessings be. If I can assist you, please contact me via my website, www.sharonmcl.com, or my Facebook page, which is the same. It's just sharonmcl.com. And I have always pasted live events there as we do them. But also you might like to just ask me a question at some point, and you can send me an email via my website. And I'm always excited to speak to people that are interested in evolving and growing for the highest good and their well-being. So I wish you all the best, and blessings be. And till next time.